I like. And we are live, guys. Thank you so much for joining today's show. It's going to be another quick one here today, guys, because we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff today. We're going to be reacting to, we're going to be reacting to a bunch of stuff today. We've got the first two topics and the only two topics that I'll be covering today, guys. Number one, Iran has apparently rejected a ceasefire. We're going to go into that a little bit. And we're also going to go into the fact that Israel's war room, guys, their war cabinet, has threatened Candace Owens with cancellation, censorship, possibly even death. I mean, they've been doing this for a while, but this is new because now it's being confirmed by the Israeli war room and their account on X. And, nobody's surprised by it. Obviously, Israel has been targeting Candace Owens for a very, very long time, ever since she got fired from Daily Wire. But this is just insane, And so we're going to be covering that. But first of all, we're going to be covering the Iran war. As you know, it has now been almost a week since the U.S., Israel, and Iran have engaged in a war. And, it's insane because we are now getting into 1 week of this war. And people have already said that this war is going to be prolonged, etc., all these sorts of things. So we're going to be looking at that. We have an update for you guys regarding the Iran war. We're going to be looking at somebody called Propaganda and Go. And guys, please check out people's channels when I say to check them out. We have, a lot of creators in the space. So here we go, guys. We're going to be watching a video. Iran rejects ceasefire. And this guy, Propaganda and Co., he's been doing war updates on this topic and other topics. So we're going to be going into this and we're going to give our reaction as the video is playing. So let's jump straight into it.
GYG created minis for one reason: to give our guests the same great quality food at a size and price that works for them. Because real food should fit your appetite, not the other way around. GYG minis, only mini in price.
Yeah, okay. So
highest ranking German
this
military
video is
officer of
about
all
16
time.
minutes, so we're going to jump straight into it. And apparently Iran holds the keys to this war, so we're going to go into that. So here we go, guys.
This is video update number 9 for the Iran war. Today, we've had some pretty interesting news. For the last few days, I've been telling you that Iran is likely winning the war, at least so far, because it achieved its objectives of surviving the initial attack wave by the US and Israel, taking out radars in the region that could prevent them from firing their missiles, exhausting the air defense interceptor stockpiles, and successfully closing the Strait of Hormuz. These opening moves were crucial to carry out for the next phase of the war, and I think it helps us predict which direction this is going. However, I always caution that we have to be measured with our speculations and wait for the dust to settle as we sift through the propaganda. Well, Pete Hegseth insisted that Iran...
The propaganda that he's talking about, guys, is the fact that Israel has put in laws in place. It's so funny. Israel calls itself the only democracy in the Middle East. That's complete bullshit. Israel's not a democracy. It's a Jewish oligarchy, and it's a Jewish Zionist oligarchy. But anyways, Israel has put in laws ever since the 12-day war last year that, guys, you're not allowed to film the damage that happens to Israel, whether it's through Iranian missiles or Hezbollah missiles or Hamas rockets, etc. You are not allowed to record damage that happens to Israel inside Israel, whether it's a residential building or a Mossad headquarters or headquarters or a school or a hospital, you're not allowed to film it, period. And we've seen, guys, many journalists get into this trap where they think it's okay to walk around with a camera anywhere, and the Israeli authorities stop them there right on the spot, and they threaten to literally deport them if they don't stop filming. And so this is one of Israel's war tactics, which is to, the fog of war, as they say, to blind spot everybody, their enemies, so they don't know how much damage is happening. Whereas, with Iran, everybody's posting videos about the fact that Iran is getting bombed. So this is really dirty tactics right here. But let's keep going.
Was annihilated and could barely fire any more missiles. He showed us highlight reel after highlight reel of them supposedly blowing up all of Iran's missile launchers. He told us that there was no shortage of American ammunition. He told us that this war was pretty much over. Well, a lot of information.
Pete Hegseth lies a lot, guys, by the way. He's just a total,
Information has come out.
I used to like him, guys, and I still kind of do, but he has gone completely off the rails with this Iran war.
Seems to contradict everything that he's saying. And I think it became pretty clear how Iran is faring during this interview between the foreign minister and NBC News.
And I asked Iran's foreign minister about whether his country is prepared for a possible ground invasion from American troops. Watch this. President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
So you're saying that Iran is ready and willing to take on the U.S. military if there were to be ground troops?
Well, we were ready for this war even more than the previous war. So you can see, the quality of our missiles, how much they are upgraded after the last war, because we learned lots of lessons. And we are prepared for any other eventuality, even, a ground invasion. So our soldiers are prepared for any scenario. When I said that we are waiting for them, it didn't mean that we are waiting for continuation of the war. No, but we have prepared ourselves to confront with any scenario, with any eventuality, any possibility, and we know that we can handle that.
Just look at the host's face. He is completely stunned. He cannot believe that the foreign minister just smiled.
And he gives that little smile, it's like, I'm ready, bitch. He gives that kind of smile. So, yeah, Iran has been preparing, guys, since the 12-day war. And honestly, they've been preparing for years, right? We know that Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying since 1995 that Iran is like 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon. They're only 2 weeks away, bro. And then in 2001, he says the same thing. They're only a month away. And then in 2005, he says the same thing. They're only 2 months away. And then in 2010, he says they're only 1 year away. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like this continuous bullshit that he spews out. But yeah, he gives that little grin, and I'm pretty sure, and the guy got what he's saying, The NBC News host got what he was saying, which is Iran is ready for any sort of ground invasion. And Iran has learned from their neighbors that ground invasions end up disastrous for the U.S. So Iran is ready for this. They definitely are.
Host's face. He is completely stunned. He cannot believe that the foreign minister just smirked while saying, go ahead, invade. We're ready for it. Interestingly, the foreign minister said, we're actually better prepared for a ground invasion than the war we're currently fighting, which is basically an exchange of missiles and bombs. So Trump said this would be a quick and easy war. Remember, initially it was supposed to be a 2 or 3 day operation. A week later, however, Iran is rejecting negotiations, doubling down, and daring the U.S. to invade. According to Time magazine, the Foreign Minister Araghchi also said that Iran has not asked for a ceasefire and is not interested in negotiating with the U.S., contradicting Trump's claims that Iranian leaders want to talk.
I don't know about this, guys. I don't know about this. I don't know about this. This is weird because, they're not asking for negotiation means what? Like they want to take this all the way? Maybe? Like maybe Iran is crazy enough to look at their neighbors and see what happened to their neighbors like Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan. And they're like, you know what? We're ready for it. So, yeah.
Security official Ali Larijani earlier this week posted on X, we will not negotiate with the United States. We didn't ask for a ceasefire even last time, Araghchi said, referring to the 12-day war between Israel and Iran last June that was ended by a Trump-announced.
Actually, that 12-day war, guys, last year in June was ended by Israel because Israel asked for the ceasefire. And the reason why Israel asked for the ceasefire is because they couldn't handle the Iranian missiles that were penetrating the defense systems. The Iron Dome could not shoot down all those missiles. The interceptor missiles that they have costs the average taxpayer, US and Israeli taxpayer, tens of millions of dollars. And let's just be honest, it is the US taxpayer. Israel isn't paying for any of this shit, you know? So yeah, Israel was the one that asked for the ceasefire. As much as they want to point the finger and say it was Iran, it was actually Israel.
Ceasefire. It was Israel who asked for a ceasefire. They asked for an unconditional ceasefire after 12 days that we resisted against their aggression. This complete rejection of negotiations by high-level Iranian officials is very revealing. So let's go to our favorite expert, Patricia, and see what she has to say about this. Those who follow me closely can get a real sense of how Iran is actually in a favorable position in this conflict. While its enemies are facing immense pressure from the Gulf countries and the global economy, Iran still holds the Strait of Hormuz firmly in its hands. It continues to launch heavy missiles, deploy drones, and maintain operational Navy and Air Force capabilities. They know that time will politically and economically erode the administration, and they have no intention of negotiating. The problem with all of this, there is no longer any reason for Iran to stop its nuclear program. Quite the opposite, in fact. What was once a nearly finalized agreement that could have resolved most of the issues has now been turned by the US and Israel into a problem they won't escape anytime soon, one of continuous long-term erosion. Here's what it comes down to. If Iran was really done for, if the air defenses were truly completely wiped, if their missile stockpiles and launchers had actually been destroyed, if they were unable to fire any more missiles and drones, basically if they were unable to keep fighting and keep the Strait of Hormuz closed, why on earth would they be rejecting negotiations? You guys already know the answer to this question by now, as we have spent the last few videos exploring the details of Iran's long-term war of attrition strategy. This is what they've been preparing for the last 40 years. Iran basically has the world by the nuts right now. Those nuts are obviously the Strait of Hormuz.
Sounds good to me. Oh, you brought this on yourself, you old monster. You have no idea how good this makes me.
A mother stretches one plate across all 5 of her children. A father skips meals so his children can eat.
Which means they can keep the straits closed, or at least disrupted, which means they can negatively affect the world economy. The situation has become so dire that Qatar's Minister of Energy, Saad al-Kaabi, said the US-Israeli war on Iran could bring down the economies of the world, predicting all Gulf energy exporters would shut down production within weeks. And there's another interesting piece of information that we can extract interpretations from. The IDF released footage of them bombing the Supreme Leader's underground bunker in the center of Tehran. They claim that 50 airstrikes were needed to dismantle the bunker. Some 50 IAF fighter jets dropped around 100 bombs on the site, which the IDF says was located under the Iran's leadership complex in Tehran, spreading across multiple streets and including many entry points and rooms for gatherings of senior members of the Iranian regime. The underground bunker was built beneath the compound and was a secure emergency asset for managing the war by the leader, who was eliminated before he managed to use it. But why were 50 airstrikes dropping 100 bombs needed? How powerful is this bunker? How do we know Israel actually destroyed it? Again, let's go back to Patricia. Breaching Iran's ultra-reinforced concrete is a major challenge. 50 aircraft attacking a single bunker may sound like a lot, but it's actually very little when dealing with reinforced concrete, especially since Iran has developed one of the world's best ultra-high performance concrete, otherwise known as UHPC. I would even dare say that 50 strikes wouldn't penetrate even the first layers. This Indian media platform Wayan wrote an article about Iran's bunkers last summer. Is Iran's concrete unbreakable? Scientists believe even the mother of all bombs cannot shatter it. UHPC is a type of concrete that is way more more advanced than regular concrete. Earlier, concrete rated as high strength had a yield of 5,000 pounds per square inch, or PSI. There were some that went up to 10,000 PSI, but UHPC can withstand 40,000 PSI or more. This is because
Guys, just to let you know, Iran has put all their bombs and missiles underground. And that's the reason why the United States and Israel can't bomb the hell out of their facilities, because Iran launches these missiles from underground. So, yeah.
This technology, concrete is turned into a composite material by adding steel or other fibers. They hold the concrete together and prevent it from cracking. Stephanie Barnett, PhD of the University of Portsmouth in the UK, who works to develop stronger concrete to protect civilian buildings from terrorist attacks, told Popular Mechanics, instead of getting a few large cracks in a concrete panel, you get lots of smaller cracks. The fibers give it more fracture energy. So the United States Air Force launched a project to study bunkers made of UHPC. It was reportedly feared that even the 5,000-pound bombs would not get through UHPC. Then it got the 21,000-pound massive ordnance air blast, otherwise known as the mother of all bombs. This is the biggest bomb one can fly, with only the B-2 Spirit strategic bomber capable of doing so. Experts say that even the biggest and toughest bomb could not get through UHPC. Gregory Vardanov of Toronto-based Advanced Material Development Corp claims that current bombs cannot break down the high-grade UHPC. Penetrators with monolithic cases made from materials such as Eglin steel cannot penetrate bunkers made from UHPC, he wrote in Aerospace and Defense Technology magazine in February of 2021. Maybe this is why Israel felt the need to drop 100 bombs that are far smaller than the 21,000-pound Moab. And here's the thing, this bunker is located exactly where the Supreme Leader was killed last Friday by 30 Israeli missiles, including the massive Blue Sparrow air-launched ballistic missile, which weighs 4,200 pounds and comes down at hypersonic speeds. The Ayatollah was killed above ground and was not in the bunker, so they didn't penetrate the actual bunker. This means Israel dropped 30 massive missiles, and yet the IRGC leaders were supposedly still using the underground bunker for days afterwards, prompting Israel to try again with another 100 bombs, which they showed us footage of today. So if Israel had penetrated and destroyed the underground bunker with their initial strike of 30, why then would they feel the need to return for another strike with 3 times the amount of firepower? As Patricia put it, the chances are their bombs are not even penetrating the first layers, and the bunker is a lot deeper and more powerful than Israel thinks. So why does this matter? Why am I bringing this up at all? Well, it's because Iran has entire cities underground where they can enrich uranium, potentially build a nuclear bomb, develop and store their missiles, and produce the weapons they need for the rest of this war. So if Israel needed 130 bombs for this one bunker, and if we still don't know that they actually destroyed it, how many bombs are needed for Iran's underground missile cities? Iran supposedly has anywhere between 150 and 300 of these cities. So do we really believe Hegseth when he says he has destroyed them all? Take a look at this satellite imagery showing how the United States and Israel has currently been carrying out attacks on these underground facilities. They aren't actually trying to penetrate the main structure. All they're doing is going for the tunnel entrances and exits and the buildings around them that support the existence of the factory, because there are people down there who need to live. So there's probably food in there, supplies in there, etc., etc. So when they say they're destroying Iran's missile facilities, what they really mean is they're destroying the ability to enter or exit. However, they don't know how many entrances or exits there actually are. And so if Iran's underground cities are intact, all it requires is them clearing the entrance or the exit so that they can continue fighting. So they aren't destroying Iran's capabilities to launch a missile wave, they're simply delaying them. Another revealing issue is what I just mentioned, the shortage of munitions. The Pentagon initially warned that they were short on munitions and would need to spend a lot of money to replenish them should Trump decide to go to war. Of course, Trump denied this, said it wasn't really an issue. Hegseth echoed that, and they decided to go to war anyway. Well, Foreign Policy magazine just released an article detailing that over 3,000 precision munitions have been used in just the first week of the war. And Trump is saying this war will possibly go on until September. So by the time this is over, how many munitions will the US have burned through? And why does it even matter? Well, as the Chinese expert Carl Zha told me during our interview on my Podcast and Co channel, and as the Foreign Policy magazine outlines, modern wars are wars of minerals. Every sustained high-tech campaign becomes a multi-thousand 100,000-ton critical minerals event. The West's capacity to sustain missile defenses and precision strike operations against Iran is limited less by dollar budgets than by choke points in critical mineral supply chains and sub-tier industrial capacity. China's dominance in processing key minerals, rare earths like gallium, germanium, graphite, and others, gives it latent leverage over Western rearmament, especially if the conflict drags on. So the decisive question in the Iran campaign is not just how many missiles the West has right now, but whether it can reload them fast enough, both in munitions and in critical minerals embedded in them, for its strategy and deterrence posture to remain credible. So in short, the US is short on what they have today and might not be able to replace it tomorrow. And if they want to speed that process up, they'll need China's permission, when we all know China is supporting Iran. So this is why Iran doesn't seem to be worried at all. Despite the fact that everyone keeps pointing towards reduced missile waves, Iran seems perfectly content to keep the war going. In fact, they're interested in having it.
This is a war of attrition, chat. This is a war of attrition. Iran is not trying to bomb. Iran is not trying to bomb the hell out of anybody else. They're just trying to hurt them economically to the point where they literally just give up. That's my verdict, honestly. They're just trying to get everybody to give up, essentially. They don't even want to fight this war, to be honest, chat. They just want to have economic dominance over the Middle East.
Escalated, and this seems to be frustrating Trump. In a Truth Social post this morning, he said, "There will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. After that, in the selection of a great and acceptable leader, we and many of our wonderful and very brave allies and partners will work tirelessly to bring Iran back from the brink of destruction, making it economically bigger, better, and stronger than ever before." Trita Parsi, an Iranian analyst, tweeted, "Trump admits and doubles down on the key reason why he chose this war. He was lulled into believing that Iranian surrender is in the cards. It isn't. This is why he rejected the excellent deal Oman had mediated, because he thought he could get surrender. This is why he thought the war would be over by Sunday evening. The Pentagon now says September, and the false lure of surrender is why his war is turning into a disaster. So Iran doesn't want to negotiate. Trump has a maximalist, delusional position. Iran is prepared for a long war of attrition. Because of the pressure that raw earth minerals would put on their rearmament, the US is not. And all the while, the Gulf countries are bleeding important revenue while energy prices continue to rise. Just take a look at what has happened to the price of European jet fuel. It is now up over 70% this week, to the highest level since June of 2022. 40% of Europe's jet fuel comes through the Strait of Hormuz. This is simply becoming unsustainable. So who is really in the driver's seat here? The US or Iran? Now do you understand why I think Iran holds the cards? What do you think? Let me know down below. I pay very special attention to comments coming from my channel members who pay every month to support Podcast and Co. So do me a favor and subscribe there.
Yeah. So crazy stuff, guys. Crazy stuff. Yeah, we're gonna jump into an X space real quick and see what they are saying. Oh, before we jump in the X space, I just want to let you guys know, Candace has been threatened by the Israeli war room. Candace Owens is openly attacking President Trump and the United States military. Post quotes a made-up tweet from an anti-American quack. Candace desperately needs help. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. They are literally going after her. The Israeli war cabinet is going after Candace Owens. And she's saying Israel's war room is really upset about the prospect of American men and women refusing to serve. I rest my case. There you go. And he's like, wow. And this is crazy, by the way. But yeah, that's about it, guys. We're going to end the stream real quick. Just before we do, we're going to jump into a quick Twitter space. I'm not sure which one I will get, but we're going to join Suleiman. But right before joining Suleiman, guys, we're going to look at some updates from the Iran war. As you know, the GCC countries, the Gulf countries, aka, they are the ones that are getting hit severely throughout this war. Their airports, their oil refineries, their hotels, their transportation systems, their ports, their ships, everything has been hit, guys. And yeah, we are going to go through that real quick. So let's go through that. You know, Suleiman Ahmed has been updating us with all the videos from Telegram and everything. Let's see what Qatar Airways suspends all flights. Damn. Okay, so the Qatari airspace has been closed again, guys. They initially closed it to 5th of March, and then they resumed the flights. But guys, they closed it again till 8th of March is closed. That's crazy. So Qatar has closed its airspace. Qatar's been hit too. What is this? Ooh. Seems like a missile. Iranian missile. Yeah, guys. Okay, let's see what else. Oh shit! What the fuck? Yo! OMG, Dubai airport major explosion. Shit! Yo, that's the fucking runway, bro. And that's crazy. You know why, Chad? That's crazy because I was there. I went to Dubai like 2-3 times, and I was at that exact terminal. Not just terminal. I mean, like, obviously everybody's been at the terminal, but I mean, like, at that exact gate. I remember leaving for my flight to Sydney. That's crazy, bro. That's fucking insane. Let's watch this in full.
Straight to the airport. Oh my god. Ya Rab. Ya Rab. Straight to the airport. Oh my god. Ya Rab.
Yo, can we
Ya
get an
Rab.
update on
Straight to
Dubai
the
airport real quick? There's no way this is real, bro. I mean, this is real. But this is crazy. They literally bombed the airport.
Oh my god.
Dubai, oh, this is confirmed. Dubai airport shut down. Struck airport shut down, all flights canceled.
Another drone. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see
here's
or
another
not.
angle. Is this another angle?
It's coming,
Oh, it
to
is.
the
You can see
airport.
the
To the
metro,
airport
guys.
again. Ya Allah. Ya Allah, straight to the airport. Oh my god. Ya Rab. Ya Rab. Ya Rab. Straight to the aircraft.
Wait, they bombed the plane?
Ya Allah. Je pense, yeah. It's another drone. I don't know if you can see or
Emirates has canceled all flights. Crazy. Crazy, bro. Oh, Abu Dhabi got bombed too.
I don't know if you can see or not. The aircraft. Ya Allah, straight to the airport. Oh my god.
Crazy, bro.
Want to do is get
Crazy, man. Crazy. Let's see what they're saying.
You know, the situation in Azerbaijan is continuing to be quite tense following the drone incident at Nakhchivan, and Iranian officials insist that, you know, that they won't carry that. And that's what, like I was saying, I suspect that was a false flag with Azerbaijan. This episode has raised concerns in Tehran that Baku could use this as a pretext to initiate its own ground incursion into Iran alongside other ethnic insurgent groups. So it makes sense to me because they're really trying to turn all of Iran's neighbors against it. So they're trying to get the Kurds against them. They're trying to get Azerbaijan against them. And they're also trying to get Europe into the war. And in the beginning, they were really trying to get Saudi into the war too. So I believe this is all, an Epstein.
The direction of hate here is that the state of Israel is hating the Palestinians and is killing them and brutally terrorizing.
Laura Loom is a fucking dumbass, man. Yeah, anyways, guys, we're going to end the stream. This is crazy. This is crazy. Dubai airport literally got bombed.
Oh my God. Ya Rab. Ya Rab. Straight to the airport.
Crazy, man. Crazy stuff. I'm going to end the stream here, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining, guys. We will be live again soon. Thank you.